Good evening from Bali, everyone. Welcome to my current bedroom in Bali right now. Today, I know it's still evening again for another video, and yet all day this mind has been reflecting on so many different details that affect all professions. But you know that my focus here is about healthcare and hospitality. And I do believe that all of us are consumers of healthcare in some way, and all of us enjoy good hospitality, and some of us work within hospitality industries. And as you know, I'm in Indonesia right now, and lots of people travel to Indonesia, and of course, lots of people travel in general. And then some people will travel to other countries, but I wanted to mention that the things that I see most in healthcare are also the things that would be seen most in hospitality. And that would be the 3Ds that I'd love to talk about, which are divorce, depression, and death. Divorce, depression, and death. The 3Ds that I want to talk about in this video, just quickly, no quotations today. But I wanted to make sure that we understand that these 3Ds do affect every profession. And these 3Ds are definitely the big areas of grief and loss that I hear about most when I work with grief recovery, and certainly heard about a lot in Canada when I was working with grief recovery professionally. Today, you know that I still carry this information. This is certainly something that I like to share with people that I speak with. And, you know, I speak with you regularly, and I feel that this information really needs to come out again about these 3Ds being a grief or a loss. Both of those terms are seen the same in grief recovery, and most of us have gone through one or all of these 3Ds. As I focus on thinking about how is our educational system for these two areas especially, but I do believe even schools that are teaching law will find the same experience for their students. Schools that are teaching about environmental care, um, anything. I think you could talk about hairdressing schools, and you would find the same thing, that today, if we really look around at each other, we've all experienced these 3Ds in some ways. I remember in school that it was very interesting that many had experienced these 3Ds. Many of us had experienced these 3Ds, and if it wasn't a direct family member, it might have been a very close friend that had passed away. That's the death. A close relative that has gone through divorce, if it wasn't one's own parents. And then depression, which was also something that was often experienced in the family somehow, and if not in the family, in friendships. So all of these areas, and today we're noticing that antidepressants as medication have increased, and whether we take it as a pharmaceutical medication, or we look at natural medication, or we look at things to work with lifting spirits, and that could involve travel, we're still looking at the same 3Ds. And I wonder how education is adapting this way, because the biggest thing that I want to point out is the instructors that are teaching for healthcare in any sort of field or for hospitality are often also carrying these experiences, these 3Ds, which are again something that's felt by everyone eventually, again, not necessarily directly, but certainly indirectly. And yet we just kind of push it aside. And one of the biggest myths in grief recovery is that time heals. And anyone who has gone through whether a divorce or a death or depression knows that these aspects can revisit at an unknown time. So sometime a memory of, oh my goodness, I feel as low energy as when a person may say when they had depression. I feel as low energy or as overwhelmed as when I felt when so and so passed away, but it's been 10 years. And this sort of idea, and then divorce, it again does not have to be direct. It can be from parents that are divorced or from relatives that are divorced. And we hear about what kind of experience is happening for a divorced couple, whether from one or from each or both together. Either way, any way that we hear about divorce, it's again, you might hear about it on the news and a TV show, it could be in a movie. but we're all exposed to these energies and it's become part of the collective consciousness. Now we look at again back to school, and so many go through these things and time does not heal. So when these memories and experiences come up again, we've got to know that a lot of times the instructors that are teaching in these areas, whether healthcare or hospitality or education in general, are not really having the tools of how to work through grief or loss for themselves. So they themselves have gone through something and they're already thinking time will heal, or yeah, if some student says something about this happened in my family, it's making me very not happy, I'm sure they might say sad, what do I do? And it's like, oh, just give it time can be one of the first comments that is heard. And sometimes because an instructor has gone through it, they might spend a little bit more time to be more compassionate. I know this is not easy, yet there is also that unspoken truth of oftentimes that instructor is going through something right then and there themselves. I know that I was working with a lawyer who was going through her own, I think, second or third divorce, and was in a really, really not easy space as she was working with clients that were going through divorce too. And so of course this idea of who is teaching is often somewhat hurting, and then they're teaching from a space that's not really centered, not full, to a space that is hurting, and we don't allow the healing to happen. Now when we work in healthcare and we're a little bit shaken up and we deny that we're shaken up, the best of our energy will not go to the clients that we serve. And I want to make sure that you know that it's the same for hospitality. Remember that a lot of times the reason people travel is they're getting over a death, they're getting over or going through a divorce, or they have depression. They feel that traveling would give them a lift. And these are, again, the three areas that are very commonly seen in healthcare too. Now, what do we do? How does a hospitality industry focus on this? Maybe there's a health department, maybe there's a spa, and this is the same thing that happens in educational institutions, that here's the healthcare department or the health office or the nurse on staff, and it's not a culture of care for each other. And this culture of care would need the same sorts of tools that everyone is just aware of, and this provides a healing energy in the space of learning. That energy is more beneficial than the actual facts and details of who passed away, who got divorced, when did this happen, how are you feeling right now. It's definitely important. Yet it's this whole awareness of what's the energy that heals this. When people don't know how to work with this, we don't know what we are sharing in our work environments, in our personal environments, and certainly to ourselves. Is there denial that's being shared within ourselves? So then we can deny the student that's going through some experience that might have happened 10 years ago, or we might deny a client that comes in and in hospitality and say that, oh, you know what, oh, so you had a divorce 10 years ago. Okay, yeah, that's too bad. Did you want to go to this restaurant for a meal? Is this where you want to eat your meal? So we get back into the task as opposed to spending the moment understanding the essence of the experience. And unless we develop this energy within ourselves, we can't radiate this. When we radiate this, it's not even about the words that we say, it's the energies that we express, the eye contact we might hold. It could be for 1 minute, it could be for 1 hour. It doesn't matter. We're authentic, we're centered, and we're recognizing that we are shiftable, changeable every day too, and we ourselves need to recenter ourselves. Today I want to remind whether healthcare professionals or hospitality professionals or educational institutions, for any types of professionals that you're training, recognize that the culture of the environment that you're teaching in needs to have this awareness, these tools from perhaps someone that might be experienced in these areas. And you might have someone that is in your environment that's able to help you. If not, I'm here, and you know my details are on my YouTube channel and of course on my website. But today I'd just love for all of us to reflect on the fact that we are in denial of the fact that grief is affecting our individual places of work and then our homes. and then our society, and it's contributing to the collective consciousness that is very much in denial. So today, let's pull out of denial, start consciously recognizing that some work needs to be done, and start working on the roots that strengthen the culture that we are bringing each other up in. I wish you a fantastic evening or day of contemplating that today, and I hope you know, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day or night, everyone.